ready to join you back for WE and Snake, that's for sure. There was a game one that Snake brought back into contention and absolutely smacked down the end of the game with one team fight. My name's Jake Hysterics, Penka, joined by Barento, Raz Muhammad, and Snake were out of the woodwork in the middle of that game and just found themselves right back with a sneaky Tristana.
Yeah, it was real fun because, like, remember, when it gets that far into the game, and you're like, all right, we're doing well, 6K gold lead, let's go, top lane turret, okay, triple kill, Baron, okay, they just needed that Baron to just slow the game down, clear out our wards. We're still in a powerful position, we got a great late game skill and top position, and then this team fight happens, where you're just like, all aboard on the Lee Sin train. We saw the kicks coming in from Flawless, we saw the kicks coming in from, like, look, Ning's had a few good ones, but then when SofM goes on it, he finds some beautiful ones. Because my eyes were drawn towards, like, the Lissandra, but in reality, like, being able to see xiye die so early on because of it, it was a calling to just how well he played there.
I mean, that kick killed Missing as well. Missing couldn't move, couldn't jump to anyone, so two members out in the thick of the fight, and that's what ruined the game for WE, that was going in their favor with two late game scalers.
Yeah, double AD carry, Braum, massive tank there for Sion. Yep. It looked great if they can get a front to back going, but in such an open space, I already mentioned, like, it was just difficult for the AD carries to keep themselves alive, specifically the Kaisa that was still up available and looking to run. But at that point, suddenly Asura finds an angle, runs right around and be able to jump right in there and challenge you. So it was just difficult for WE at that point in the game.
It's super rough because Asura picked up the first Tristana and you're like, I can't remember what this champion does. Like, it's been so long since we've seen her consistently in competitive play in 9.2. You know who got MVP though? Of course it wasn't Asura.
Yeah,
Asura just had a great time. He didn't die in the end. Why would he die? He just couldn't be touched.
39% damage percentage is to be expected with how well he played that one out. 9, 0, and 5. It's kind of funny. If he had died once, you had 9, 1, and whatever. Like, would have been the end game there for Snake.
Yeah.
Would have charged right down the mid lane, inhibitor, Nexus turrets. Would have been it with how hard it was for Snake to begin with. So he had played out such a masterful performance.
And when his Ezreal was open, when it was available, nope, Asura doesn't want to prioritize it. He goes, later I'll just pick up the Tristana. That's fine. That's
kind of weird, right? Because throughout the entire, like, previous series, Snake's been a team to early prioritize, like, Ezreal, Alistar on first phase. Kaisa is another one that they go back to, but Kaisa was picked away from, so WE's analysts were like, all right, we got this. We're looking good. Strategy is down packed. Get the Corki. What can they do? Tristana? What the hell? Like, I see you playing Korean solo queue. I guess, like, Chinese solo queue has 9.4 now. You're like, we'll see you in the late game. We're a little bit better. But then it just comes down to Asura played a little bit better. I think SofM on Lee Sin, you might end up banning it because it is that X factor.
True.
X factor because early on in the game, he
wasn't the greatest.
Wasn't the best.
No.
Trolled a few times. But then, looking for those iconic moments, it reminds you of, like, this, like, old JDG. Like, when they found that, like, that insane Lee Sin kick that Clid gave them at that time, now SKT. Like, you have to, like, respect this champion on the players that are so masterful on that. So, yeah, good job there. It's interesting that Asura picks it up, but the co-MVP, Raz and Hysterics.
I'll join you.
You'll get in there, yeah. You may not know who it is going to be. That's Lee Sin.
Oh, it's Lee Sin, right, good. Okay, all right, I'll join you on that. Thanks for just making me part of it. Yeah. You know, like, Asura picking Tristana was great. That's fantastic. It's Snake. You know, this kind of fits in with their style of, you know, being kind of like the mad scientist still. I don't know if we're still sticking with that after the change up.
Mad scientist is the top lane, right?
Yeah, but, you know, there are other lanes in Snake. You know, there are other players in Snake apart from Flandre.
Asura is the most boring person of a scientist ever. His name is, like, Bob or something that's in that lab.
Oh, really?
He hasn't really done anything that, like, he didn't come out there curing cancer. The man just found, like, something to make,
you know, like, trees grow, you know,
a little bit
faster, yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
Some people like that.
But that's good. I mean, it's good for the environment. It
but
has a big effect.
That's the most consistent inventions. The other guy, the other mad scientist, like, doesn't work half the time. Anyways, what I'm coming down to saying is that he may go on to the most stock standard picks of Ezreal and Kaisa.
Yep.
And his early laning phase is never prioritized, so Snake don't oftentimes go bottom lane to get him ahead. But he gets the job done early, and his late game is what stands out. He reminds me of a lot what, like, Kramer is doing for LGD at the moment.
Very true. it's good to see Snake with a bit of a refreshing momentum, I would say, after game number 1. But maybe I should cut myself short because it was WE for the driver's seat for the longest of time.
Yep.
Beishang still to be commended there. Had a pretty good early game on the Jarvan.
And they did exactly what I would expect from Team WE, where they had all that pressure. But when it comes down to closing out a game with that composition, when you don't have that like point and click, sure they had Sion, but Sion and Red Side Jungle, like what can you really do? There's not a lot of like stop and go if the enemy team is smart enough to play at an arm's reach. And so what they needed to do, what needed to happen, move towards Baron, look to burst it down. You have the ability to just jump over the wall and play a rundown game if it's like, if you're playing around, not burning Baron to kill it, but to look to chase them down immediately afterwards, because you want to pull the enemy team into your outside jungle that you've been controlling so well. Yep. They didn't play that game. They're not coordinated enough or experienced enough across the board. So one thing that I would like for Team WE is a little bit more simpler of a composition. I think Galio is a champion that comes to mind.
Yeah, you can keep the Jarvan, put the Galio in, change up how xiye plays. Now, although we have been seeing a lot of the support Galio, it fits with xiye's playstyle and what he's done in the past, but we saw the Corki, we like the Corki.
Look.
So let's park Galio for a second.
You go back into the past, old man. Yeah. I'm talking about the Galio support.
Alright.
I'm saying missing picks up Galio.
Yeah.
Look.
I've seen a lot in the LPL now.
I don't know if I have to get you your leave or like what old people have these days.
Armchairs.
Yeah, sure.
Give me an armchair.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Right.
You can have an armchair.
Well, get me a cat.
A lot of people have cats.
Old people have cats as well.
Okay, there we go. Equal opportunity.
No, young people have dogs.
Get out of here with that nonsense.
I would love a pet dog. Please make me young again. Let's go into game 2, Rise.
Okay.
I've got absolutely no room for any more of this nonsense because I'm
You're
watching a Snake in WE. Yeah, I know. And I'll end the nonsense. You know, I have full control. Can the same be said about WE and Snake? Yes. Yes, you know what? Yes. Because this year, the LPL is absolutely stacked. And it doesn't matter if Snake and WE are fighting for spots of contention in playoffs or maybe the 8th position as we get closer towards it. It's a very important game as their strength of schedule continues to grow up. And in game 2, let's see, because I spot an Aatrox, which can be flexed.
The Cassiopeia has been left open too. That's real cool. I think WE allowing that open since they're on red side and usually add that ownership. They're calling out Snake and saying Asura won't play it, and Mala, if he does play it, not to a degree where xiye can't handle it.
Yep.
So I think xiye would rather want to be able to pick himself that even with the Alistar and Kaisa, you know, the Cassio works really well in tandem with that.
Yeah. Move it around. Let's see WE. If they actually get it, though, because Snake may have just played the double bait, where the Lissandra is still open as well, being a high priority.
Do you know what's great into the Lissandra?
I do.
Yeah, that Zoe, baby.
I do.
Get that Zoe in there.
It's rare that both Zoe and Cassiopeia are both open.
It's insane. Now, the Cassio is going to go to the wayside. I think Zoe is the higher priority here.
Was it banned in game 1?
Just depends. It was. Oh, yeah, it wasn't. It was not. You're right. It was banned in the second phase.
Yep.
Second phase in pick and ban. For this one, though, xiye has a pick of the litter. xiye, the Zoe has been much more popular, has been much higher win rate.
Oh, yeah. Chinese Zoe is insane. What are we at? 80% at the moment, I think? A little bit over. Zoe's win rate has been
80%.
Unacceptable.
80% win rate, 15 games in a row. It's been absurd. So you get to this kind of a series, and xiye, if he's listening to his coach, he's definitely not going to go to Zoe.
Maybe he's not listening to his coach, or maybe his coach is saying, no, pick the Corki up again, which really wasn't an issue in game 1. Just getting caught out a couple of times and falling by the wayside.
What they did going into this game, the only adaptation I see from Team WE is like what I talked about being the easy point and click engage has been resolved with an Alistar. Because I think Braum is much better in this composition, but only in the hands of really experienced teams that can play very well around it. Going to Alistar is saying that, look, we did so well in our own individual lanes, there's nothing we should change other than making it easier for us to engage.
Super easy as well when you consider the things that are open to simulate that engage again, like Pose's Sion. That has not been banned out just yet if they want to focus towards more of the top side. Beishang still has the Jarvan available too, and that first big red side after ban phase 2.
I think WE should ban out the Galio here just because you're looking at Snake. they need a support, and they have a Lissandra and Aatrox. Like, in my mind, Snake's composition only gets better if Maestro picks up that Galio.
Remember that still the Thresh is a niche pick,
oh, wow.
which has just been banned away by WE.
That's an interesting call. If I'm an Alistar in this situation, I'm okay going up against the Thresh.
Yep. Easy to body block as well with level 6. It's just Alistar just going to bop you away once you get in. With Thresh to final ban, we question the Galio. But there's no way Snake here say, we don't want, what, would you ban it away? That's just foolish. Neolaf is the final ban against Beishang.
Two of the strongest picks for beishang has been taken away, the Aatrox and the Olaf. So, we saw it happen last game. I don't think Team WE will change anything other than, of course, the support that went through. In fact, if we're just talking about top laners that are available, you just pick up the Scion again. So,
yep.
For Team WE, it's going to be a boring pick and draft. Weixiao is like, all right, run it back, but remember what I told you last game.
Do it again, why not? With that Scion still left open. We'll see exactly where that Aatrox goes, because it could be another steal away. Snake don't do this. Will, of course, be the Braum.
Yeah, it's a good jungle option. So, it's WE just holding onto their top lane pick. Because you're right. Like, we don't know if that Aatrox is going to be going into the top lane or going to be going into jungle.
True. We'll find out in a quick second. As a side note, it has been a very long time since we've seen a Blitzcrank, but we'll see, Raz.
I wonder if SofM goes towards the Sejuani here. Because, I mean, he had a great Lee Sin game. But the idea, oftentimes he ends up going towards the Sejuani if he has the Braum, Lissandra, and a melee champion that he could work alongside. And in this case, it would be the Aatrox. Not going to be the case, but something to watch out for in the next games. Yeah,
Lee Sin instead playing it safe, going again. Means it will be an Aatrox towards the top side of the map for Flandre. And taking the matchup. Thank you very much, Post. No Scion here.
This time around, Post is flexing. And he gets that Fiora pick. There are a few Fioras out here in the LPL that like can throw their weight around. I think immediately people will think the Shy.
Yeah.
The Shy is huge. Of course you pick up that Fiora. Gimgoon's like is surprisingly a great one too. And so like our top tier teams pick up the Fiora because they have exceptional top laners and they have a great way to play through it. The consistency that's there, the vision control that's there. Team WE don't necessarily have the latter, but the former, a great top laner is something they have. So I want to see what Post can do on that in that matchup. Matchup's good for Fiora.
If we're comparing Post with another top laner that might pick up this Fiora, then we probably look at Ale and see if Post gets measurably close to the top laner of OMG.
Just have like 4 people chasing him around the map, I suppose.
Or 5. We'll make it even greater. We'll see, but the Fiora taking the matchup there against Flandre, I mean, that's bold. That's very bold, especially when Flandre, in the past, has been a top laner to be feared.
Yeah, I mean, look, it just comes down to the matchup. Flandre is an exceptional top lane talent. But in the matchup, Aatrox is going to have a tough time. Very easy to predict when the knockup comes out. You're going to have to play to it. So you see Flandre joking around Male and SofM. They have high spirits. I mean, if you got the victory in the last game, of course you're going to have that high spirits. But you got to play to the matchup. And Flandre is going to recognize that Post is going to be, you know, kind of going for it this game.
It's to get Snake back on track, and why shouldn't they be jovial? After game 1 that was confident, calm, and collected in the final fight, letting Asura do his thing. Game 2 should be much the same to a regard. But we do not see the Tristana again, Raz. I mean, that's what makes me a tiny bit unhappy. But you're not going to get the best of both worlds. Instead, it's Asura's core pick in the Ezreal.
Ezreal has been so good for him, so I mean, he has the range advantage now in the matchup. We're going to be seeing Asura not have to wait too long like he did in the last game.
Yeah. When you jump back onto your comfort, you know that Snake have to be feared. WE, they're not in their home arena, but the crowd is trying to cheer them on to that game 3.
They have a lot of lockdown in their composition. Now, looking at the bottom side of the map, Mala and Maestro. If SofM can play through that, skirmishes through mid, might be a little hard with cleanse there, but going through bottom lane, I can see SofM having a clear path bot.
Yeah.
Oh no, they don't know that someone's sitting in there. Or is it a visual bug? We'll find out.
They do. No, it's not. This is what happened before with the Fiddlesticks First Blood. This was Luma on Fiddlesticks.
Look,
you play to the side of the brush.
Fair. I agree with that. I just don't know what to believe anymore.
Okay.
We've just been in too many games where a Jarvan is like that, where he's not just sitting there, when in reality he's in the bush over.
Wasn't it last night with I think it was Ning, the top side of the map against FBX.
That was one that was really good. At least that was in the bush, but like
but really
what
not
was shown to us, he was like standing in front of the man, just staring him down.
The Observer played with it, toggled Fog of War on about 10 times.
A few times where the Observer gets to have real fun. Yeah. That was one of those moments.
Glad we haven't seen, one yet at the very least. WE transitioning into this game. They are on the verge of losing yet another series. It's pretty rough, especially since for WE, a couple of losses there, a couple of big wins. I think WE and Snake, if they both won against EDG, I'm gonna have to check that.
That's true. That's true. You're right. And so, like, that's really early on the split. EDG was not so bad. I mean, was not so good.
Okay, yeah.
That's why whenever we talk about this, it's always like within the context, new viewers out there, early weeks, EDG had just been hard trolling. Yeah. They're doing very well. Slower play, clear love in the mix. Something I want to point out in the map right now, though, is that Post went towards grasping the Undying. Gets the extra HP. I think it's about 5 HP, actually, when he goes through those trades, which is nice to have in the matchup. Xiye's getting opened up.
Nice and early, though, but level 3. Marla takes the Glacial Path anyway, locks on down the mid laner. Xiye at half health, burnt down, trying to get the laning phase over to Marla. And it might be more successful, as SofM might run into beishang as well. And
Xiye didn't want to use his summoners. In those instances, you do want to use it. He doesn't have teleport here. Going into cleanse, he wants to stay in the lane as long as possible. So, having the, not having the potion up because he already ended up using it, he's going to have a struggling time within the laning phase, going up against the teleport user. So, that's something you have to kind of watch out for.
Yeah, I can't spot this play either. beishang will smite down. Oh, that's a pig and a poke. But Xiye forced to sit underneath his turret, so SofM really pushing it forward.
That's why it's more beneficial at times. It depends on the moment. To blow your flash to keep up your HP in the lane, because longevity, standing in the laning phase, then you could help out beishang just a little bit. Then you can stay in the lane for a little bit longer. So those are the trades that you end up getting here.
Pretty rough, especially since now we're straight back to blue and SofM getting a much faster clear here than beishang, who's in the top side of the map going for Krugs somehow. Flandre, however, is actually getting some equal trades off here with Post, but remember, about that level 6.
You're seeing how he's using his Qs too. Never right on top of the Fiora, just in case you end up riposting.
If anyone's going to win the matchup, it's Flandre. Now, I have to say, Raz, in the LPL, I don't think matchups matter.
Okay, now you gotta calm down.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yes, you do.
One day. Let's put example, right? A basic one.
Okay.
Urgot, Sion. Urgot and Sion are two tanks. They're flimsy until they're not. It's pretty straightforward.
You are. There's a clear reason why you're the play-by-play.
And that is where I stop my analysis.
So wait a minute.
Well said. A very fair game.
But I think you're right in the terms of, I'd say I'll give you a few examples of the Shy being such a strong player that even winning out certain counter matchups, that ends up happening. Flandre and Pose are good enough players where the matchups do end up meaning a lot here.
This is an interesting matchup in the bottom lane, however. We're looking for a double knockout. This is beishang again. That's first blood. Easy does it here, WE.
My goodness, didn't expect the counter gank coming through. beishang ends up coming through and so much damage coming that. Electrocute. Maestro didn't see that one coming.
Only difference is that beishang didn't get the double knock up this time. He only found one.
Yep.
But it was enough to give Mystic first blood. Now, remind me again, first blood of the last game, I believe it was Mystic.
Yeah, it was.
So beishang influencing the bottom lane again. The difference is that it was one visit. And that was pretty much it while beishang was busy with dealing with the rest of the map.
Yeah, and Pose has done such a great job of being able to hold the wave at the same time. 2 games in a row where if you cast your mind back to the earlier weeks, he would fall behind to a skirmish while this play was being made. This time around, you get to see like beishang being able to pay more attention to the bot side. Look at this. So much damage comes through. He just didn't see it coming. That was actually the full proc of the Kaisa passive.
Yeah.
That gets the lethal on Maestro. So.
And if SofM wasn't there, I mean, there was further chase to go to Asura to summon a burnt for the Ezreal. But luckily he gets to keep it because of the help of his jungler.
Yep.
Who is now towards the top side, and he's influencing with a lot of that Raptor pressure there for beishang, who has to just take it in the brush. Gets the Scuttle Crab himself. Missing. What are you doing here?
Mala has to shove up, and so he's just trying to see if there's a weakness here, because there are two very vulnerable lanes right now. Mid lane because Mala was shoving up, but at the same time top lane because Pose was having a large wave being built up. So beishang had to be here to protect top lane, but SofM was trying to see if he can get a gank top side. Both didn't work out.
Going back to his red now. beishang's still level 5, missing, running in 2. Mobility boots on the Alistar as red buff is going to lose patience and walk back. 4 members of Snake up here.
They have some chance now. Look at the mid lane wave being pushed up too. Corki might be coming out of... Okay, they're giving it away. Yeah. They're giving it away. They're having Alistar head right back from the bottom lane and having Corki at least get a shove mid.
Yeah, quick take though for the red buff, and 10 CS there for xiye as he shoves it out. Couple going to be denied there from Mala, but the Glacial Path will get him back in time so he doesn't miss too much. But good roams here from Missing to apply pressure and try to match mobility on the Alistar as what we saw from Maestro last game.
Love the fact that we're starting to see a lot of these teams end up contesting with supports too. A lot of the times these red buff invades were very unclean for our first few weeks because it would be a team would either be over-aggressing, not bringing in their support for the play, or a team would kind of be trying to stick too much into the defense when they don't have the member as well. Now people are bringing in support. You're seeing the extra level of mind games where RNG in that same situation brought in Uzi.
Yeah. So
their AD carry came into the fight. Kind of reminds me of like Season 3 LPL where you'd have a lot of these mind games come down to, hey, you have a Kassadin, so you know you're going to get ganked in this situation, or there's going to be a dive here. But it comes down to literally a 5v5 in the mid lane, like really early on, something around like 8 minutes into the game.
LPL hasn't lost any of that essence, so I mean it's Season 9 and we're still seeing a lot of those early game fights, but just on different conditions. Pretty rough here for Flandre though. Against the wall, doesn't get the true damage here from the passive of Post, but still playing it out well for an Aatrox.
Yeah, the early damage that Aatrox has coupled with the electrocute is usually why he's doing well right now. The only reason why Post is not winning it out is because he has the longer con there, Vamp Scepter, Grasping the Undying. He's trying to keep alive early on because then he's going to be going to Trinity Force. I would say Ravenous Hydra. Then he's going to take over the matchup quite easily.
Mala just tries to walk past xiye.
Yeah, he did. He wasn't going to get past that guy.
So while the matchup in the top side seems to be developing, bottom side just goes straight for the Dragon, pick up an Infernal. Flandre picks up a Scuttle Crab as well.
And next one's Infernal too. This game, once again, is going to be centered around bottom side of the map. SofM's going to be have to get onto the map pretty quickly, early. Be able to affect the lanes through ganks because that's going to be unfortunate for Snake. They don't want many fights happening bot side with Asura trying to scale right back up.
Post taking the 1v1 again. Okay, Flandre, we've got to get out now because Grand Challenge has been issued. Post doesn't have enough mana. This is going to be pretty rough. Flandre knows that, just walks right back in. Thankfully,
it was right next to the wall, so that's no ulti there for Pose. May leave him wide open.
Not sure if this was spotted out, but Post backing underneath the turret. SofM can keep him here. But chooses not to, waiting for beishang.
New challenger approaches.
Here. Sonic Wave again, goes in for the kick. beishang flashes over the wall. Match hit by SofM, but he can't get the auto off as the burn there. beishang survives somehow.
Got everything in there, including the red smites. There was a lot of burn happening on top of beishang. So close. This is 2 games in a row when he feels like he should have been able to get the kill, but it hasn't been in there. So what happens when you haven't been playing Lee Sin too much, perhaps in terms of competitive play. Like, he's been a great Lee Sin player, but he picks his moments, so.
You just see the difference between him and maybe anyone else, even beishang, when he's on the Lee Sin. SofM uses the safeguard so aggressively at the start of the combination, so.
Yeah, to always weave in that auto attack.
Yeah.
That's why I love his Lee Sin. He does that so frequently when he's looking in for ganks, dives as well. When I talk about the real early dives, cast my mind back to like the Rogue Warrior versus Snake games, where he would try and find those dives on bottom lane like SMLZ and Killua, and they would be very effective. I always have my foot in my mouth. I was like, he wouldn't be going. That's a really early dive bottom lane, but he would always make it work because he would always have that max damage on there.
SofM's been here a while, been here with Flandre for a while actually, with Snake. It's kind of no surprise and still leading the charge for the team.
Yeah, longevity. That's why between the both of them, I think their communication's always been very strong. At times it's looked weird, but that just comes down to their individual decisions. Both of them are just, at times,
weird,
risky.
Okay. Communication looks weird. I mean, it's okay to be weird. It's okay to be different. SofM should be here. Double knock up. He's dead. Cataclysm and xiye picks it up. Almost a rinse and repeat, but this time in the mid lane.
Okay. You can see beishang. He's like he's in NBA Jam. He's on fire right now.
Hang on, this doesn't work.
All
Grand
right,
challenge
get him.
issued. Post needs to get it. Flashes away. Actually finds it. Flandre pops the Yomu's Ghostblade. Post is going to kill him though. One more Post. He's waiting. But Flandre doesn't drop down. Still, he's at no health and no summoner there for Post to follow up.
And Post had to flash to be able to proc the healing, so you could see how close that matchup is really early on.
Yeah.
Just a Titanic on Post when this all went down, so in the end of the day, Flandre ends up losing throughout that, but it still has a flash advantage, so perhaps the next one could be better for him.
Yeah, imagine the difference with Ravenous Hydra in that fight as well. Flandre just having the item advantage gives him the edge. He was able to come back into lane after using the teleport, pushes it out. Post will have to do the same here. For Flandre, still ahead by 20 CS, but again, it doesn't matter because we see a Fiora. We see a Fiora who can lane. A Fiora who can become very deadly towards this, let's say, 20-minute mark. Hang on. Marlon, get out.
Skedaddle.
You know what? Back in Australia.
I don't want to hear it.
No, okay. You won't hear it then. Snake might be caught out here as well. Missing has made the move up once again. Flandre over the wall. That red buff is very highly contested here from Snake, but this time they'll just let it go.
Yeah, they have mid-shove. At this point, xiye should always be there. Last time around, he's like, okay, you guys are on your own in this one. But easily should be given to beishang at this point.
See, top side still a priority here in this game. I want to take a step back.
Okay.
I've just taken a step back. Sorry, you can't see me. I'm not on camera.
That's fine. Is that what you do back in Australia?
Yeah, that's true what we do. We take a step back.
Okay.
It's not very interesting, but then again, nothing really happens in Australia, does it? I think more's happening in this game than happens in Australia over a year.
It's not true. There, you guys have a lot of things down there.
Yeah. Bunning snags, barbecues, prawns.
Expensive infrastructure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of rent to be paid in a small amount of time. Rent's really expensive in Australia. Let's make something happen in the top side of the
I'm just saying, electricity, gas bills, all that stuff.
Too much.
Huge.
Yeah. I paid $600 for 3 months.
Oh my god,
Hang
Mystic's going to be paying a lot more.
Oh yeah,
okay. Alright.
Hey, that splits up the duo.
Alright.
He can just push this out. Now, Asura's Ezreal was understated because it's great. Right? We said it was good. But keep an eye on Asura as the top lane continues to digress onto Post. He walks away and he's going to give this up. First star of blood. Going to go over to Snake.
Yeah, it's not a cannon either, so Post realizing that wave is not going to be his for some time.
Yeah.
I wonder, he's just going to go for the Raptor camp. Recognizes the wave is going to be cleared top side. Tower's gone, but he still wants to be able to farm. Good call for him.
He doesn't actually pick up the Raptor camp though. What's going
Please
on?
do that. Please take up Raptors.
No?
Okay.
He's just walking around. I think the priority and vision for Snake is good. But no real objective there from Post while WE takes a double Infernal.
There's an option there if he wanted to go around for mid lane turret, but there is no situation where SofM and Flandre are going to go for second tower.
Yep.
Okay.
xiye almost gets pulled in by the Infernal chains. Flandre lucky he's been bursted out, not for him, but for xiye rather, as in comes missing. The ultimate there, not available, just gets bursted down before Flandre can hit it. SofM ignited down as well, double kill to the Corki, and xiye and missing just go for it. While Post now has to deal with Marla, the grand challenge issued here. Post on top of the Lissandra, one more hit, and it's procced in. xiye says, thanks for the healing, love. And Marla will go invulnerable, but just get popped by a phosphorus bomb.
Just wanted to play one more prank before he ended up dying on that one. But yeah, that was xiye's coming up huge right now. 4 kills, double Infernal Dragon picked up on his bot side. But like, he has so much DPS, and we already mentioned in the previous game how quickly he was farming up to. Like, he was perfect farm last time, and he was in side lanes for quite a bit, so he was far better than that. Now he's 17. Or at least 174 CS at 15 minutes. I finally got that one right.
That's alright.
And he's ahead of the pace
He
quite
is.
a bit.
Had a Trinity Force very early on. Look at this back, right?
Yep.
900 gold bounty in his head. We're not going to see it in deck because we're going to watch how Flandre got flopped.
Not a damage he's able to do. Remember, he has Trinity Force at this point, so Sheen proc, going to do quite a bit on top of Flandre. So that's why Missing goes in. easy follow-up and damage. And SofM, he was surprised about the follow-up damage xiye was able to get down on.
And he just got the third kill as well. This add insult to injury from Marla.
Not much you can say here other than get pranked right here. Ah, you thought you got me.
But then you get him anyway.
Yeah. In fact, xiye still got it anyways.
Yeah.
So 4 kills on him. Huge bounty.
Oh, that's 3,000 gold in the lead over Marla. Both lanes have now, both games have shown that xiye is just a better mid laner. And who would have thought?
And Snake are doing so much to get around that fact. Like the effort they put in every game to get around the fact that the mid lane matchup is often not in their favor.
Yep.
And I mean matchup as in just like the player matchup. It's hard. It puts more ownership on Asura, SofM, Flandre, like these players to be able to pick that up. And most of the time they're doing pretty well early on in the game. They just end up falling short as the game goes on in these later game decisions. So this time around in game 1, we saw those mistakes being made really early on, but then they made up for it with better team fighting. So WE should be, right now they're getting the better of it, but we'll have to see when we get like 25-minute mark how that ends up going.
Difference is as well that xiye had a couple of kills but wasn't able to snowball that any further. Had a lot of items, couldn't get himself into fights. Already with those 4 kills, you see that that's a BF sword. Now I want to see the Zeal come first. Yes.
It's already there, yeah.
Yep, no, but sorry, I want to see the rapid fire cannon first. BF sword is alluding to the infinity edge that will come third.
Look, I'm not that much of a stickler. I'm just only a stickler if you have 0% crit and you go infinity edge.
Oh, that is true. You got the Zeal. Okay.
So like you're fine.
Yeah.
Remember it's 9.2, so that's the only reason for it. And I think that's the only reason why Icon ended up going infinity edge first before anything is because he's probably just played in solo queue and forgotten.
Yeah.
So that's how far behind we are, but soon enough. This week, I promise.
Yeah, we are dodging 9.3 and jumping onto 9.4 where there's some serious ergot issues, which is good. When I say issues, I mean people clapping their hands that they probably won't see ergot competitive.
There you go.
More or less. Still played though. But Fiora, man, Fiora with Spear Shojin. Oh god, it's so good.
Spear Shojin just nice in general. Great on Riven, good on Jax.
Man, with Jax, you counter-strike like 10 times in a fight.
I already hated him when Essence Reaper or something was good.
Yeah, that's Spear Shojin second. This is fantastic. I'm a Jax player, by the way. So it feels pretty good. As good as xiye getting this top turret.
And so, like, just similar to the last game, the priority for Team WE with the lead that they have is to still slow it down and get golden experience on their members. One level away from Mystic to be able to pick and evolve his Q. Like, that's every time you need to be able to get the levels to get Mystic to that point.
Yeah.
And then for xiye, like, he already has his rapid fire cannon, but Infinity Edge is when he can walk up and really pressure members and activate their team fight. Rapid fire cannon right now is good enough. He even has the package, so definitely should be able to just walk up to the tower here.
Still doing so much damage with that missile barrage as well. As SofM walks in, almost gets buttered out. But with the Rift Herald, they'll break it open. There's a teleport coming in, but the missile barrage continues to pop them. And Herald even gets another charge. The difference between game 1 and game 2, though. xiye and Mystic, same picks. But this time, Post is a threat in the late game as well.
Yeah, split push threat while they have an engaged threat with the Alistar. These are just very easy to play scenarios. The hardest part about the last game was, like, you need to be very coordinated as a team to make that worthwhile if you're playing around your Baron vision, which just, like, Team WE cannot do right now.
Yeah.
This is something they can do. It's much easier for them as a team to actually play around.
Speaking of the Devil, the Baron's coming up soon as well, 20 minutes in. Now with very real threat, with vision hard to get by for Snake. SofM, hero kicks might not be available this game. He's still behind and actually in the same situation. Not much harder to get through there, especially since with Post running around. Nice dodge by Mystic, for what it's worth.
Huffing and puffing.
Yeah. Wrong gate Raz, should have said that in the first series. Should have said that in the first series.
Huffing and puffing one?
Yeah. Puffin Southwind, man.
Okay, that's alright.
Sorry, but
you gotta blame yourself too on that one.
Alright. Never thought of it. It's been 7 weeks. So, yeah.
Ooh.
Fair enough for the blame. Asura is starting to do a bit of damage.
Yeah, and he doesn't have his next tier. He just needs to be able. He didn't have the gold. That has to be the reason for it. But when he gets back, he's going to be able to sell his potion, pick up a tier, and hopefully deal as much damage as xiye is.
Yeah, it might not matter because Asura might not even get to play the game if xiye keeps running forward. That Infinity Edge is getting closer with a pickaxe in inventory now as well. And xiye having some really good farm games. This game, 247 at 21 minutes.
It's huge. It's fun to just be able to see him do that. I think Team WE's mid-game side lane assignments have just been great. So no issues from me here. I think sometimes you could maybe levy some problems towards beishang and missing and how they're able to push control wards a little bit deeper. But even when they do, my major point is just like how they use them. Like right now, this is a great way to use it, moving it towards the inner tower, top side. But sometimes you just need that extra shove to end up moving towards Baron. So right now is a good call. No concerns here. Yeah,
Snake can't move in time as well, which means it's not going to be a contest until maybe it's a little bit too late. beishang just on the edge there in the outskirts of the fight, but they move away. And remember, Baron is still up, You
even have Post pushing up mid, so they can always have another wave to work with. So this is good overall from them.
Oh, hang on, Flandre, this is cheeky. I'm not sure. Can he win the 1v1? Looks like he can. He feels confident having the World Ender available, but Grand Challenge available from Post as well. No Baron going to be started. Just checking.
Making sure.
Yep. You got to at this point, because with lack of vision there, WE now moving towards it anyway.
Like, Blast Kona's there, Jarvan can go over the wall, so they have enough damage to do it between two people. So makes a lot of sense that Snake just wants to make sure in those instances.
Not going towards it just yet. Flandre pushes out the bottom lane so that he can maybe rotate up without using his teleport. Almost level 16 on the Aatrox, which is what he's going for with that level 3 World Ender. Post will be doing the same, but just lacks that level advantage.
Flandre needs to be able to keep Post at bay in the split push, and what you're seeing right now is a good call for him to constantly rotate towards the team. You want to be playing towards Baron, and here we go. Team W are starting it. They have no idea, but they've been pretty cautious coming up to this point, so Snake should be in the area. There we go.
Shot barrage is very well timed as well. WA pull off of it. Not willing to take the fight nor the risk.
Yep. So trying to sneak Baron, WE should know by now that Snake are in the area constantly.
Boy, that's a double headbutt pulverize there from Mystic in the backline. xiye still hitting away. The mid laner doing a lot. Mystic ults in as well. Asura right into the thick of it.
One
and
more.
While xiye cleans out, it's a perfectly timed fight from WE.
That was just a great two-man pulverizer from Missing. And even better from Mystic to just nail down SofM. Gets him with a W. Follows through, and that just completely isolates Asura. He's like, well, I can't help my team.
Yeah. It's just such a quick fight from WE as well. It's over before it began.
And that's what you do with your vision. I mean, even though Snake know you're doing it, or at least you're in the area, it's so hard to still play towards the vision because in this case, last game they had Braum. This time around, Alistar is the easiest way to start those fights.
Yeah.
So pick potential is there from Team WE.
Though Snake was the one to pretty much start that fight with SofM and Maestro over the wall.
Boom. That was just so well done from Missing. Makes it even easier for Jarvan to follow up. How are you going to play this one out if you're Asura? You just have an overpowered Kai'Sa running you down.
Yeah. Mystic's been farming the clock as well here. 3-0 now, 600 gold, or 800 gold bounty in the Colonel.
I've never seen something that tilted.
97, yeah.
We're pushing it now. We're getting to a point where we're in week 7. He's going to call it 100% at one point.
Yeah.
And he's going to lose our viewers. Once the Colonel calls it.
That's it. Well, WA, it's fair to say this game, 11k gold lead, it looks much more decisive. The composition allows for this as well. They're going to find themselves a top lane tower. They're going to find themselves a top lane inhibitor as well. Marla can't get in.
You got to do something. Oh, my God.
Oh, and xiye just destroys it. Packages out for good measure.
That was disgusting. Oh, stop it.
Have you seen a Corki this fed in a while? WE. I mean, they got Baron buff. Could they just end it?
They won't. But what I will say, unless if Riot Games creates a new item called the Bulletproof Vest, xiye is going to go, oh my God, he's dead.
Oh, he's gone just as quickly as he began. Snake do find the pick, and now for the support, Mystic wants to enter in. Maestro ultis and hits the AD carry, but Mystic jumps in as well. The issue is the Corki may be dead, but Mystic's just as big as he takes down the jungler of Snake, and this is an absolute fiasco. 11-1. W are in the base, they found the jungler, they got the mid laner, and they could end or they could get the inhibitor.
Look, I think they're just going to take the inhib and leave without xiye. But how did they even get that kill?
Yeah.
He was walking with swagger. It was insane that xiye, for how strong that he was, that's a lot of damage, Ezreal, was able to just get picked off without SofM even needing to use ultimate.
Yeah. Let's see a replay of that. xiye shouldn't have died. xiye is unkillable, and he's the only death of the team. Yeah,
I mean, at this point, I don't know the observers too well in this one. We don't have control over them. We don't know if they're as curious as we are.
We know they are. Raz, wait for it. Look.
Nah, I'm not. I don't know.
Perfect time.
Nah. They're probably more interested in the back timings. Look at these wonderful back timings.
Well, at least xiye died so he can go back to base. You know?
So you don't know. Oh my God, I lied. Okay, they just had to, you know, some time. He had package. How did he get picked up? Oh no, this is when he got the kill.
Yeah.
We're committed to the whole team fight there. We'll have to see how long this ends up going because we are keeping track of this part. And he is alone. Ooh. What happens when he's alone? Does he Valkyrie in? Please don't Valkyrie in.
Is there a ward?
Don't Valkyrie in, man.
Oh, he Valkyrie's in.
Alright, that's how it all ends.
And he flashes out just to be hit by an auto attack. That's what happens when you got 4 items. You know, you're feeling the game.
Yeah.
You're feeling the static shiv, which has now been picked up. He's 3 levels ahead of Marla. He is at 300 CS at 28 minutes. That is Corki. It's a great Corki game. It is very rare to see because we do not see Corki that often.
A little bit more often, just because when Knight starts playing it, it's in the meta, games get slower, then there's more benefit. Well. Yeah. So, I'm glad that we do get to see more Corki, just because it starts to benefit more team fighting. Smarter team fights, the way I want to see if we played.
I don't think we're gonna see one last team fight, Raz, by the looks of it.
Yeah, I mean, Snake have to be really smart
yeah.
to be able to somehow come back in this one.
Well, they're on the verge of all 3 waves crashing in eventually. Asura is the one doing the damage here, and WE know that they can play around shares. The top lane post does manage to lock down Flandre, but still waiting for these waves.
So I remember this kind of a situation, Snake versus, Suning versus OMG.
Yep.
But this is not that type of game.
No, it is not. WE is just so far ahead.
Let's
Look at
go.
that knock up here. 3 from missing. xiye in the backline still free firing again. Marla goes invulnerable, but for missing, tanking underneath the turret. They'll lose their support, and Snake still very healthy enough to prevent this push. And as Flandre goes back in there aiming for xiye, SofM on the side kicks him to death, and beishang has to jump back in. How does Snake win this fight? I'm not too sure because Post and Mystic are still alive. They get Flandre, they get Asura, and maybe not. It was close for Snake, but as close can get.
Yeah.
11k gold disadvantage at 29 minutes in the game.
Too many carries in this game. You can make your play to try and cut down xiye. We get that freeze frame. You know, keep it on the screen a little bit longer. Let them feel it.
WE audience out in force as well. Well, a game 3 for 2 teams that want to play it very fun.
Very fun, very long, draw it out. Team WE are trying to go the route of like, you're thinking fun, I'm thinking more methodical in the sense that like early on you're getting the kills.
Yeah.
But when you get to that point, this point it was like 24 minutes of the game, when they get that one pick on the Alistar, get Baron, they try and slow it down. They try and beat you down through just the minion power. You know, build up waves and side lanes, try and get the tower advantage. We already saw how difficult it was for Snake to deal with this composition in Game 1. They still got the win. Game 2 even harder now that WE can pick their own fights.
Yeah, that's right. Post went on the carry in Game 2 and missing picked himself up the Alistar. Big differences here from WE just to make it so much easier.
Yeah, so I wonder how Snake are going to deal with this, because if you're looking at this with just like the Snake lens, I don't know what that even looked like. But they're having problems dealing with the Corki. I wouldn't blame the Corki necessarily, because looking at it, like, Corki doesn't have pressure in this instance really early on Lissandra's. You would definitely want to have the Lissandra versus Corki, like how early shove, Lee Sin can do whatever he wants. I think taking away the Jarvan would be what my priority is. Yeah. Because Lee Sin hasn't been netting the early game advantage that SofM had wanted. He had a great highlight play in Game 1, and people will remember that. But it's often easy to forget the fact that early deficit that he had in that game.
Yep.
Died twice in the same way because he couldn't get execute. And then in game 2, it's almost same thing. He didn't die for it, but he still lost the kill when he felt like, all right, this is what I picked this for. So picking away the Jarvan would make a lot more sense for me because it's down his wheelbarrow. Like
yeah.
he has a wonderful Jarvan. Great engage point on that as well. And it would make a lot of sense to have the J4 Lissandra composition so they can actually end up nailing a lot of the sieges that they're trying to hit them.
Because if you don't take it away, if you don't ban it as well, it's just going to be seen for a third game in a row.
Yep.
And beishang has looked absolutely fantastic on the Jarvan. If we've wanted to skew up the Lee Sin versus Jarvan matchup, this game probably doesn't give us an understanding of how it should run, but I have to say, in the LPL, Jarvan has looked a lot better.
And I think it's just because, like, Jarvan in general is great.
Yeah.
But he's just flanked by such great players. Like, something about xiye and minions just doesn't miss.
Yeah.
Like, there's, in the Twitch chat, there's always that, like, the exclamation mark cannon. None of that was happening with xiye. He's hitting those cannons.
Every single time. WA do enough to secure themselves to a game 2. Don't give me that back. We're going to go to a game 3 very shortly, right after this.